Hi Stitchy friends, my name is Molly. I go by Molly McMaker here on YouTube and over on Instagram. And this is a channel about cross stitch and sometimes my other crafty things. Today is Friday, August the 30th, and I'm going to talk to you about the stitchy projects that I've worked on in the last 2 weeks. So let's get to the WIPS. The first project that I wanted to talk about is the Seaworthy Sampler by Teresa Kogut. I stitched on this for 1 day in the last 2 weeks, and I did 272 stitches, and I met my goal for the month, which I think was 5 days. And here is my progress. So in that 1 day, I believe I just worked on the whale here. Got some progress on him. I didn't stitch on this a ton since you guys last saw it. But I wanted to get a little bit more summer stitching in before I transitioned over to fall stitching. And this is my last summer stitch, and I'm now going to put this one away for a little while, and we're going to start working on fall. So I'm very excited. But this is turning out beautifully. I think I'm going to recolor some of the fish at the bottom because they're pretty washed out. I hope I remember all of the plans that I'm wanting to do, since I'm going to be putting this away for a little while. But that'll give me some time to kind of work on the colors, and we'll see if that actually happens. But this is the Seaworthy Sampler. The next project that I wanted to talk about is my Mary Morgans by Fox and Rabbit. This is stitched on 32 count Nor'easter. And I wanted to mention my last project, the Seaworthy Sampler by Teresa Kogut, was also stitched on 32 count Nor'easter. So since you last saw this, I stitched on this for 5 days and for 950 stitches. And this is the progress that we've made. Oh gosh, I can't even get it all in there. Okay, we'll just... So since you last saw it, I completed the border because I wanted to make sure that that was going to line up. Which it did with a little bit of fudging. I was off by, I was 1 stitch like too high when I was stitching this bottom border, and I really needed like 1 extra stitch. So I messed up somewhere. I have no idea where. And so I just made it work. I did have to like frog a little bit and kind of like restitch, but nobody's going to be able to tell. It'll be fine. I just am going to try to remember not to count off of this end whenever I'm doing the rest of it. But if you remember, my goal for this is to do 2,200 stitches a month, and I believe I did 2,285. So I met my goal. And I was able to start on the letter samplers at the top. And if you're familiar with this project or you've stitched it before, you'll notice that I started my letters a little bit further over. And that's because there are some letters missing in the original sampler. I saw this project from Tiger Lily Designs, her Flosstube, and she had recharted some of the letters, so I'm going to be copying her. But whenever she did it, she I guess didn't allot for the extra letters, and some of the little motifs at the end were left off. So I wanted to make sure that I captured those in mine. So I did some math. We'll see if my math is right once we get to the end, to try to shift it over to account for those extra letters. And I believe she talks a little bit about why the letters are missing. I guess the alphabet just didn't have I can't remember if it's an I or a J and a Y. But I want my sampler to have all the letters, so I'm going to add those in. But making good progress on her. If you watch my channel a lot, you'll be seeing this quite a bit since I'm going to be stitching on it 2,200 stitches a month to get this done by my birthday next July. That's a pretty hefty goal, but we made it 1 month. Just a few more to go. The next project that I worked on is the Greenhouse of Oddities by Lola Cross Stitch. And I stitched on this for 2 days in this last couple of weeks for a total of 651 stitches. And this is the progress that I've made. So I worked in this area over here. I can't remember what part this is. I think it's like 5 or 6. And I did these trumpet vines and these little guys down here that are supposed to look like eyeballs. I stitched all of the white in this area in the glow-in-the-dark DMC floss. So that looks super cute. And I'm super excited about that. I met my goal for stitching on this month. I have a goal to try to finish this by the end of the year because I want to gift this to a friend of mine. And so I've divided all the plantings. So I kind of want to do like 1 month's worth of work each month to get it done by the end of the year. I do have some intense new start plans for October, at least for me. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm hoping to get this done by the end of the year or early next year so that I can gift this because I believe she's going to really like it. But I'm really enjoying stitching on this. And I'm really debating on starting the next sal that she did as well, which is the Deadly Aquarium. Today is Friday, August 30th, and I believe this is the last day that the last release is going to come out, which I haven't checked online for that to see what the final design is, but I want to stitch it, but also like I just have so many things. So I still haven't ordered fabric for it, but I'm debating. Because also if she comes out with another stitch along in like 6 months, there's no way that I'm going to have that one completed. And I really don't want to have 2 of them going at a time, which is why I didn't start the original or the last one. But I've definitely learned that if I think that I'm going to like a Lola Crow design, to go ahead and just start the sal, because I like a lot of her designs. Anywho, this is Greenhouse of Oddities. It's stitched on 32 count Silver Fox. I believe it's a Lugana. But yeah, so this is where I am and excited to get another planting done next month. The next project that I worked on is Haunted House Trio by Waxing Moon Designs. This is one of my oldest WIPs, and I know that because it's stitched on Aida, and I don't have any other projects on Aida, because really I prefer linen these days. But this is my progress on that. So the last time you saw it, I believe I had this whole house done and most of this house and a little bit of this bottom border. So since then I have closed in the entire border to make sure that my little sides all fit, because the other one that I did like this, I must have miscounted. But it fits. And then I filled in a lot of the things around this house. So I think I had the house, but I didn't have the door, the cat, the little bats, and the witchy person. And this over here, I added, I think, a couple extra bats because there's some words that are on here that I don't plan on stitching. But really excited about this one. Really excited to start stitching fall and spooky Halloweeny things. Just love a Halloween stitch. I have two other projects that I have fully finished that are also from Waxing Moon Designs that are like holiday themed. One is a patriotic one and a winter one. So I plan on finishing this in the same way. And I have some magnet boards on that, and I can just magnetize and switch these out. So after I finish this one, I do want to start the spring one. Maybe next year, we'll see. But at some point, so that I can just kind of switch those out with the season. But excited about this one and my progress on it. My goal is to finish this by the end of September because I have another Halloween stitch that I'm also going to start in September. And so I would like both of those done, preferably by October 1st. I think I can get this one done by October 1st. The other one, we'll see. It's not big, but we'll see. There's only so much stitching time. But yeah, so this is my progress. I'm using, I think, some of the called for and then some of the DMC. I wanted the houses for sure. Since they're big blocks of color, I really like to use the fancy floss on those so that you can see the variegation, because I think that makes it look a lot better. But a lot of it, I'm just using the DMC. Like this black is just the DMC. The witch is the DMC. I believe these trees are DMC. The only regret that I have is I now have that glow in the dark floss, and he would be so cute. This little ghosty guy would be so cute if he was in glow in the dark floss. But I just absolutely loathe frogging stitches. So I don't know that I'm going to do that. This house over here does have a ghost in it as well. So I could stitch him in glow in the dark, but then would it be weird if he was in glow in the dark and then this one wasn't in glow in the dark? I mean, I feel like it's kind of weird. Let me know your thoughts on that. Do you think, I love stitching in the glow in the dark floss. Well, I take that back. Actually, stitching in the glow in the dark floss is kind of a pain. But the end result is super cute and I love that. So what do you think? Do you think that I should stitch on glow in the dark on this one or not, since I'm 90+% sure that I am not going to rip him out to restitch him? So if I'm not going to rip it out, should I use the glow in the dark floss for the ghost guy over here, or just make it the same? Let me know your thoughts. But that's my progress on Haunted House Trio. Next, I wanted to talk about the Dark Queen of the Earth by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I am stitching this on 32 count Nightshade from Under the Sea Fabrics. It's one of the called for fabrics for this stitch along. The stitch along ended a long time ago, but I didn't finish. But this is my progress so far. Oh, so since I think the last time this was shown as well was in my WIP parade. So the last time I showed it, I think I had to about right here and all of this. So all of this down here is new stitching. And I stitched on this for 3 days for 936 stitches. I'm excited to get this done. I would like to get this done before the next stitch along starts. I heard that they're doing a new one for a Dark Queen of Fire next year, but they haven't said when exactly. I would love to have this done before then, so I could then decide if I am going to be a part of the stitch along. I find that really doubtful that that's going to happen, but I'm going to try to work on it. This to me, you know, feels like a very fall piece. I went back and forth, like, so the main design has a couple of variation. There's like a green skin version and a dark skin version. And I think I've decided that I want to do the brown skinned version. I think that'll look really good on this green fabric. And also I just like her hair and her face better on that one. So I'm really excited to put some more time and effort into this one during the fall stitching time, and we'll see where we can get with it. So this is my Dark Queen of the Earth. The last WIP that I wanted to talk about today is called Newcastle Biscornu by Teresa Kogut. I am stitching this on 40 count doubloon from Picture This Plus. This is my oldest WIP, and this is my progress currently. This guy is so cute. So this is my oldest WIP. I haven't touched this in like 2 years since I started it, because the 40 count scared me a little bit. At the time my lighting was different, and I was using like a little magnifier glass, but it was like, it kind of hurt my eyes when I was using the light magnifier thing. So I think I was a little scared to go back to it. Also, I didn't do a whole lot of fall stitching last year because we had some other things going on. But really excited to pull this out for fall this year and would really like to get some progress on it. It wasn't as scary once I started stitching on it, but I also kind of like really, you know, got it up close, had the light on there, had my reading glasses, and I was able to stitch on this. My only issue is I got it so close to the edge because I wanted to, so it's a Biscornu, so there'll be 2 squares, like one here, and I think one will fit here. But I had to get that close to the edge, I think, to make the 2 pieces fit on this one piece of fabric. So that's the only thing that kind of really makes this hard stitching, is it's so close to the edge. And I was using a Q-snap. But then I remembered that I had a Morgan hoop, and so the next time I pull this out, I'm gonna use my Morgan hoop because I believe that I'll be able to get closer to that edge, because I still have to, I think I'm far enough away from the top edge to where this stitching won't be that bad, but I am gonna have to put a little butterfly over here, and he's gonna be real close to the edge too. And I do think that there's some stitching like in this corner to connect him. But so I think I've worked around being able to stitch on this 40 count. I'm excited to stitch on the 40 count because there are some projects that I really like that are really big, and it would be great to stitch them on a smaller count or a higher count fabric so that they are smaller and not ginormous like the Mary Morgans. So we'll see. 46 and 56 still seem super scary, but 40 count seems good so far. But yeah, excited for all of these fall stitches. Bring on the fall. So very excited. I would really like for there to also be cool weather. I live in Texas. It's still like 1,000,000 degrees outside, and it probably will be through most of fall. You know, sometimes we'll have some cooler days, but you know, sometimes I have crazy thoughts like on Thanksgiving and even Christmas about wearing a sweater and, you know, realize that that's not a good choice. Anywho, but this is my progress on the Newcastle Biscornu, and excited to work on this some more. So next I wanted to talk a little bit about plans and some of the summary for August. I know we're not quite at the end of August, but I do have some numbers. So in the last 2 weeks since my last Flosstube, I stitched for 11 days for 4,764 stitches. And so far this month, I have stitched for 22 unique days and for 8,470 stitches. So excited about that. All of this is from my, a combination, all of the numbers are a combination from Markup XP, because I use all of my, I upload all of my patterns into Markup XP because that's just my preferred way of stitching. And then I can count the number of stitches and I can put it into my Notion app and keep track of all my plans and stuff like that. So for August, my plans were to stitch on Mary Morgan's for 2,200 stitches, which I met. I wanted to stitch on the Seaworthy Sampler for 5 days. I met that as well. I wanted to complete one of the plantings for the Greenhouse of Oddities. I completed that. I wanted to work on my Dark Queen of the Earth for 3 days. I completed that. I wanted to work on my Haunted House Trio also for 3 days, and I completed that. I have Biscornu in question mark, because I wanted to try to get to the Biscornu by the end of the month, and I did that. I stitched on that one day. Some of the things that I didn't get to that were on my plans for August was I wanted to stitch on Autumn at Lazy Bear Mountain for 3 days, and I just didn't get to that. I also was supposed to stitch on my Praise of Pollinators for 5 days in August, and I didn't touch that as well. The Praise of Pollinators is my birthday start for this year, and some of my stitching goals are a little hefty, and I'm not going to be able to meet all the goals. And also Praise of Pollinators just really feels like a summer, springy time of stitch. And while I love it, and there's a sale going on, so that makes me want to stitch it more right now. But I also really, really want to stitch on fall. And I have lots and lots of fall things that will take up my time. So I think I'm going to probably primarily focus on those, and we'll see if we have time for Praise of Pollinators, which, I mean, looking like it doesn't look like it. But anyway, so I didn't meet all my goals, but I did meet quite a few of them. Goals for next month, most of the same things. I want to work on Mary Morgan's for 2,200 stitches. I want to do a planting of Greenhouse of Oddities. I want to finish the Haunted House Trio. I have another Halloween start that I'm going to talk about in a second that I would like to finish. September is Sampler September, you know, so some people will focus a lot of their stitchy time on samplers. I'm somewhat going to be participating in that because I'm going to be working on my Mary Morgan's, which is a sampler, and then my Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain, I consider to be a sampler because it has lots of different things and motifs on it. However, it doesn't have a alphabet. So those are my two Sampler September pieces that I'm going to be focusing on for the month. I want to work on Dark Queen. I want to work on the Biscornu, and I also have my Praise of Pollinators goal on here. So again, some pretty hefty goals for September. So we'll see how much of those I actually make. And So I wanted to start a new start in September, and that is Halloween Tiny Town. So this pattern is super cute. Love it so much. It's not very big. I've stitched a few of the other Tiny Towns. I've stitched the Valentine's, the spring, and the Christmas one. So I have plans to stitch maybe not all of the Tiny Towns, because some of them aren't my faves. Speaking of which, I did have plans to acquire the Harvest Tiny Town and stitch that this fall. But then the Thankful Tiny Town came out, and I just think that one is like so much cuter. So I think I'm probably going to stitch that one instead. Anyhow, but I'm going to start Halloween Tiny Town in September. And I hope to finish this in September. I started going down that tangent because I had stitched the other ones, and I think they were like 3,000 stitches. So it's not a ton of stitches. You know, if I focus on it for 5 to 7 days, like I can get it done. But yeah, so I have a piece of fabric. This is 36 count doubloon. Oh, this is the same color as the Biscornu that I'm working on, just a different count. So I have one of those little spools by, I believe it's the Colorado cross stitcher's husband. It makes the spools. The spools are very expensive, I know, but they're so cute. And I want to make, you know, a ton of Tiny Towns so that I can switch them out seasonally and put them on that cute little spool. For them to fit, you need to work on 36 count. So this is 36 count doubloon. And then I have made my own color conversion for this Tiny Town because I want to use up the things that I have. So I don't, pumpkin might be from Weeks Dye Works, I think might be the only one in here. And maybe this like black coffee is the only one that's the called for. These are mostly color and cotton from my stash from whenever I was in their thread of the month club. Because I had a really hard time deciding which club to be in. They have a couple different ones. Like I knew I didn't want the primitive ones because I liked the brighter colors. So I was getting the brighter colors, which was like 5 skeins. And then there was like all skeins, which was 10 skeins. And I couldn't decide between the all skeins or the color because there was always like something in one of them that I was like, ooh, I really love that. So I would get them both, and then I would get 15 skeins of floss like every month, and it just got overwhelming a little quickly. So maybe whenever I get through all of my color and cotton, I can go back to that. I've also really wondered about how anyone gets into the fabric of the month club with color and cotton, because I would absolutely love to be in that fabric club. But they don't ever advertise any openings. So I kind of wonder if they open it up to people that have the thread club, if there are any openings, if they offer them to them, or if there just never any openings because nobody ever leaves, because everybody knows how fantastic that club is and nobody's dumb enough to leave. Just kidding. If you know any inside information about any of that, please let me know, because I am very curious. But until then, we'll just have to wait for them to do their little pre-orders that they like to do. So yeah, I believe that's all of the plans that I had to talk about today. that's all that I had planned to talk with you today. I want to thank everyone for being here. If you liked this video, please give me a like. It helps my channel out. If you enjoy this content, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss another update. And can't wait to see you guys again next time. Thanks. Bye. And I'm going to talk to you today about the this feels weird.